we never get tired of like pretty shawls and sweaters and anything. We never get tired of knitting, do we? So you can see that there's a lot of patterns that I've read those it'll take ages for me, but so fingers crossed it will happen. Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Nutiden, and this is a channel all about knitting, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of you that are returning, but if there are, thank you for sticking with me. I know that there's not a lot of English content on the channel, but I'll try to keep up with the English videos, so I'll try to have like some English content here and there. I know that there's been a few of you who have been asking me to add closed captions to my Korean videos, but to be honest, it's not that feasible for me. Putting closed captions does take a lot of time, and also like I blather a lot. I blather a lot. There's a lot of like nonsense going on all of my videos, so like I don't think it's very like necessary to translate them. And also like one of the most important reasons is that is because I think it's one, but yeah. I mostly watch knitting podcasts when I'm knitting, so I don't really tend to watch the screen that often. That means that I'm not really reading the subtitles, so maybe it's just me, but I think that it's not really efficient to put subtitles on a knitting podcast. So what will be happening in the future is that I will just be trying to peep here and there to give you a little bit updates, or yeah, some random knitting related videos in the future, like this one or the finished objects. So voila, that's how this is going to roll for the foreseeable future. Maybe it's going to change someday, you know, like I'm not sticking anything, like nothing is like written on, nothing is black and white. No, I don't know what I'm saying, but you get what I mean. Like everything can change at any point, so we'll see what happens. But here we are today. So today I will be talking about my knitting. No, what did I want to call this? My dream knits. No, dream knits. I don't know if dream knits is the right word. I think I had a different word for it, but I don't know. I don't know. But basically, these are the knits I want to knit in the future. So I think that dream knits is too big of a word, so it sounds very like grand and like the dream knit. That's not what I'm going for. This is just like the knits I'm going to work for this year, I hope. But I already have like a full list here. I'm recycling some cardboard, but I initially wrote it down on my iPad, but I'm using my iPad to record the voice, to record the audio. I'm using the iPad to record the audio, so I can't like, yeah, and there's the glare and everything. So I've just written down my dream knits on a piece of cardboard, and let's hope that I don't forget anything. But I can already like see that there's already like 12 patterns, and I'm never going to knit 12 patterns in a year. So this video is just going to be nonsense, but I just wanted to like share what knits I have in what future projects I have in my mind today. This can change tomorrow, this can change like an hour later, but I just wanted to share the different patterns and what yarns I am thinking about using for the projects I already have an idea for. So maybe like you might be interested in knitting one of these patterns, and also feel free to comment down below what patterns you're planning to knit, because I'm always looking for great patterns to knit, and this can always change. I don't need to knit these. So yeah, voila. So this is just to share. Yeah. So let's start. So the first pattern is one. So I'll try to I'll try to pop in a photo of each pattern and also the information in the and also the information will be there, but also you can find everything down below. I'll try to have a list in the description box. Yep, so I hope that helps, and let's get into the content proper. So the first one is Only Good Vibes by Melanie Berg. Yes, I got that out there. I was like blanking on the name, but I just remembered it. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's an asymmetrical shawl, and it uses a fingering weight yarn and also like a Suri alpaca yarn. And I remember when it got I remember the period when it got released, and I thought it was really pretty, but at the time, I don't know, maybe I didn't really like 100% fall in love with it, because I don't know, for XYZ reason. But I have the I remember like seeing back in the days when it was published, but a few days ago I saw this, I think randomly on Ravelry, or maybe not randomly, I don't know, but I got to like revisit this pattern a few days ago, and I was like, that's the one I really want to knit like right now. So that's why this is the number one on my list today, because I think I want to cast it on like right now. And I already have the yarn for it, and that's like you know, like those instances where you fall in love with a pattern and then you go to your stash and you're like, that is the yarn for this pattern. Well, that happened right here. So I had this, my sister bought this yarn for me in 2009 for my birthday. So I used to live in Paris, and I used to live like right next to the Aimée store in Paris, and I didn't go there on a regular basis because I didn't really have the money to buy Aimée every day, but it was a special occasion, and I had been like ranting about going to the store for ages, and also I was busy, and I'm like I don't really like going outside, so yeah, so we went there for my birthday, and my sister bought me like this skein of yarn. So like it's so pretty, look at all like the speckles here, and it's merino singles, so it has 366 meters, and it's I think it's superwash merino, I guess it's superwash, and it's 100 grams, and the colorway is Dusk. I think it's a repeatable colorway, but I had this in my stash since like 2019. I didn't really know what to knit with it, and I saw this pattern and I was like, I think this is the guy. And also I had in my stash this merino, oh no, not merino, no, what? This is soft silk mohair by Knitting for Olive, and it's the colorway powder. So I had this in my stash, and initially I had bought this to use it with I have Mondim, the ones with the like red specks and green specks, pinkish speck, but there's a speckled yarn in Mondim that I had bought in the past, and I wanted to use it with like a creamy mohair, so I had bought this mohair from Knitting for Olive, but since you buy it online, you don't really get the proper color, like it's hard to estimate the color unless you see it in person, and I initially thought it was like more of a creamy color, so I bought this, and I wasn't really like keen on knitting that project anymore with this yarn because it felt like the color felt a little bit off. So this had been sitting in my stash as well for quite a while, and then I fell in love with that pattern, and then I saw these two, and it was like it had to happen, right? So I think these two go really well together. You can see like this color is like pretty much the same color as the mohair, so I think these will be a super good match. The initial pattern does require like Suri alpaca, but when I went in the project, I've seen people knit it with silk mohair, so I think it'll be fine. So these two are destined to become Only Good Vibes shawl by Melanie Berg in the near future. That's happening. Then what do I have? Then I have the Crux cardigan that is in the PomPom magazine issue 36. The Crux cardigan by Kindred Red. Yeah, I think it's Kindred Red. So this one is the guy, and this is the pattern I've been eyeing since the release, or like since the previews of PomPom 36. So I've decided that I'm gonna knit it, and since it does, I think it does like require some like motivation, because it is like a fiddly knit. You have to like work on all of those weaving bits, embroidery bits. So I decided that I was going to like launch a KAL in like Korea to knit this one, because I wanted to knit it, and like the KALs that like I want to open KALs for products I want to knit because it's my KAL, so I'm going to be very selfish. So we're knitting like projects from this PomPom, and I'm going to knit Crux cardigan. So I've already made a swatch. Cute, right? This pin is from K10 Dots. I'll put it in the like subtitles here, but I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is a cute pin that I've got as a present. It's super cute, and it's just hanging around on my swatch because I think it's cute. There's no big reason, but I've decided that I'm going to use the Nutiden yarn in Nutiden yarn by Höner in the color Midwinter for the background color, and I've knit it in 2 strands. The swatch is knit in a 4.5mm. The original pattern suggests 3.75mm, so I am going up in sizing quite a bit, but I guess that the pattern will be fine if it's like oversized a little bit, so I don't really care. I think I'm going to knit the size, like the first size, 0 or 1, and it'll be fine. And then like the contrasting yarn is like a sock set from Hey Mama Wolf. So it's sport yarn as required in the pattern, and I've chosen this one because I find that like the colors are really like go really well with each other because it's a set, but also like with the background color. What do you think? So this one will be a Crux cardigan. I guess like I'm choosing very different yarn from the original pattern. Like the original pattern is more like pastel-y vibes, but this one is like more, I don't know, like toned down, but I really like how it goes together. I'm a little bit worried by the fact that like some of the colors don't really pop out, but I think it'll be okay, and I just really like how the colors work together. And I think it'll be really wearable, and I really love like the crop length. It's really cute, and I think, yeah, it will go really well with like jeans or like corduroy trousers, dungarees and stuff, so like generally my style, and also dresses. So I'm really like excited about this one that I'm going to be casting on very soon, like in May. Maybe I'll be casting on other stuff first, but like this will be happening in May for sure. So that's that. And then the other one is like there's no particular order to these stuff, but it's another like recent publication. I consider like if it's published in the like year, it's recent. So this is Laine 10. I know that the Laine 11 it will be out very soon, but it's the recent Laine for the moment. And I really want to knit this one, the Portia shawl. I think it's so pretty. So it's the Portia shawl by Natasja Hornby. So it's also an asymmetrical shawl, and you start like at the point, and it's basically like a cable panel and next to it a garter panel. So it will be a lot of fun, a lot of cabling, and yeah, I think it looks huge from the photo, but yeah, it looks huge. let's see how much yarn is required. So I've already like picked out which yarn I want to knit it in, but I only have one skein of it, so I'm sure that I'll have to like buy extra skeins of it. But let's check what it requires. So the Portia, where are you? So here, Portia materials: 5 skeins of 2 cool fingering, so 50 grams, and 4 skeins of silk mohair. Okay, but I'm going to knit it with like a single strand of yarn. So what does it require? It requires a 4mm needle, but the yarn I've picked is the Fibre Co. in the Fibre Co. Cumbria fingering. Yeah, so this is the Fibre Co. Cumbria fingering in the colorway Scaffel Pike. Is it upside down? No, it's in the, so here, Scaffel Pike. And I've actually bought it when I went to London, so at Knit with Attitude, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I only bought 1 skein. And initially I'd bought like this skein to knit with like the mini set from Aimée, but like stuff happened, stuff shift around, and yeah, but I don't know, I only bought 1 skein of this, so I'm going to have to buy extra skeins of this to knit the Portia shawl. The Portia shawl does require like a fingering and a mohair strand, so I guess the required thickness of yarn is supposed to be like thicker than this one, because this is just like a single fingering. But I think that it doesn't really matter much for shawls. It just means that your shawl is going to turn out smaller if the yarn is thinner. And yeah, I don't really care, because I don't think it'll be like that small, because the shawl is already like a decent size. And maybe I'll just go down a needle size. I'll have to figure out like what needle I like with the patterning. But that's that. And what did I want to say? The Cumbria is 90% wool and 90% wool and 10% mohair. So it means that it already has like this mohair in the yarn, so it has this halo, and it's super squishy. I think it's like very soft. I don't feel any like scratchiness at all. And yes, I'm really so excited for this project. I've been squishing this yarn like since the day I've bought it, and I'm really kicking myself to have only bought like 1 skein of it, but I'll buy extra, so it'll be fine. I just hope that the dial-up won't be like too different. I guess it's a shawl, so it's not really going to bother me, so I'm not sure. Should I buy like an extra skein? I'm not sure. So this little guy is going to become a Portia shawl. So there's that. And then the next one is, I don't have the yarn to show you yet, but I like the yarn is like supposed to come quite soon, or I hope so. But I'm going to knit the Bloom Your Heart Out shawl by Inese. So this is a pattern that I've been eyeing since the release, and I've bought it like as soon as it came out, and like I had been waiting it to come out. But I had started it in a different yarn and I wasn't really satisfied with it. No problems with the pattern, it was just the yarn that wasn't really it was too thick. I chose a yarn that was too thick, and I just think that the pattern has to be knit in a very delicate yarn. So I've tried to choose like softer colors. I don't know if like those are like my usual colors. Yes, they are. But yeah, I've ordered some hand-dyed yarn that is supposed to come in the foreseeable future, and I think it's Merino fingering, so similar to the original yarn. I think it's Aimée. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot going on in the pattern. I've told you that I've already, this one was my this was my initial start, my first Bloom Your Heart Out shawl, and I really love the colors I picked, because I I'm never really confident with my colours. I have a hard time deciding on colours, but I really love the colours I had picked. But I found the yarn was like too thick for the pattern. The pattern is supposed to be like very airy and flowy, but you don't even really see the yarn overs. So I thought that I had to just stop and change the yarn to find new yarn for it. So I'm happy that I decided to stop, because sometimes once you start a project it is hard to stop, and it's hard to like decide when it's too late to go back, and you always think that it's too late, but I think that when you think something's not right with your project, it's never too late. Or sometimes it is too late, but like you have to stop the first time you get like red lights in your head. Red lights, orange lights, or like alert signs in your head. But so that's my first attempt, but I decided to get new yarn for it. So it means that I've already tried the pattern out, like at least the first section, but I really love the pattern. It's just like the repeats are quite long. I don't know if it makes sense, but like the basic repeat is fixed, but the repeat for the edging goes on for quite a few rows, so you do really have to pay attention, because because the repeats are long, so it's not like very evident, but otherwise there's no problem, and everything was clear on the pattern, so it's no problem. It just means that I'll have to concentrate, but like the design, I think it calls for that. It's not like a straightforward simple pattern. But I hope that I can get the yarn in May so I can start working on it, because I've been wanting to knit this since last year. So I hope I'll have a Bloom Your Heart Out shawl in the year. Fingers crossed, because it's a huge one as well. That's that. So you've seen that I've already have like 3 shawls in my wish list, but you may already all know, but the 52 Weeks of Shawl by Laine is also coming out, and I've seen the previews, because at this point we only have the previews out, and I already have like 10 plus shawls that I've picked out and those are only like front runners. So I think that I already have like a minimum of 50 years of shawls to knit. So for me it's not 52 weeks of shawls, it's 52 years of shawls. But yeah, so we never get tired of like pretty shawls and sweaters and anything. We never get tired of knitting, do we? So I'm really happy to have like a lot of patterns I want to knit, because sometimes I fall in this pit where I don't know what I really want to knit after this project, and I prefer having a lot of projects I want to knit than not knowing what I want to knit. Do you know what I mean? I think it's, yeah, I always want to have something that I do want to knit on. It's just a relief to know that you have so much you want to knit, so it means that you're never going to really run out of a wish list. So afterwards I have the Culm sweater by Fiona Alice, and this has been on my wish list like for ages, and I really want to knit this year. I also put it on my Make 9, so fingers crossed it will happen. I've already knit a swatch with it. The only reason I've been putting off starting this is that it's knit in bottom up, and I don't have any problems with the bottom up construction at all. It's just like starting the body. There's so much stitches to cast on that it's taking a time to get in the zone. But that's all, and I already have like the yarn picked out. So it's a wool yarn. It's an unknown, like it's not a brand. It's like an industrial yarn that I had bought in Korea, and it's this caramel color. And I was quite like, hesitant when I knit the swatch because I feel like it has like this hint of khaki green to this yarn that just like puts me off a little bit, but I'm not like no, it's okay. I think it's a good caramel, so I think I'll stick with the yarn. It's like basically a fingering weight yarn, and the swatch turned out quite good actually. So that's going to become a calm sweater by Fiona Alice from Brooklyn Tweed. And I don't know, like in one of my past videos I already have mentioned this, but I really like the Brooklyn Tweed patterns. I think that they're really beginner friendly. The particularity of the Brooklyn Tweed patterns is that they are really like they're really kind. Like, that's a very flat word, but they really hold you by the hand, so it's really beginner friendly. There's a lot of tutorials and they really break down every step, and there's a lot of pages. It might be intimidating for like people who open the pattern, but when it has a lot of pages, it just means that there's so much description and it's all like written out for you. So the more pages it has, it's actually more beginner friendly because it means that there's just so many like details written out in the pattern. So that's that. So that pattern is going to be a lot of twisted stitches and a lot of moss stitch, so it means that it will be the slowest pattern to knit on earth, but I think, and also like in a fingering weight yarn, so it means that it'll take ages for me, but I think it'll be so wearable and it will become like my favorite knit. I haven't knit it, but I know that it will become my favorite knit. So that's going to become a calm sweater. I was going to say a Fiona Alice sweater, but that's true as well. It's going to become a calm sweater. It's going to become the calm sweater by Fiona Alice. Wow. Next one is a Japanese pattern. So I don't like Japanese patterns because I don't know, they're not like my style, but also I can't say it because I have knit quite a few Japanese patterns that I love. So I'm just a liar and just like full of prejudice, cliches. I don't know what a word I want to say, but yeah. So I'm going to knit in this yarn. So Plötulopi by Istex. These are ready. So this is the black heather, I think. Light ash heather and black heather, I think they're the names, but these are Plötulopi plates by Istex, and these yarn have been in the waiting since last autumn. But I bought this because I specifically wanted to knit the Rosette pattern by, I think, Reiko Kuwamura. I am not sure with the name. I'm really bad at Japanese names. And yeah, I'm going to knit that one. I just know that I'm going to make one modification in the neckline because I don't like rolled necklines. I don't like it. I think that they're sloppy. So it will obviously become like a 2x2 rib, I think. So that one is a top-down colourwork pattern, and I had fallen in love with it. I don't know since when, but it's been quite a while, and I purposely chose like monotone, black and white, super light grey, but like black and white colours, because I fell in love with the black and white photo on the patterns page on Ravelry. So you can see that I have quite a lot of projects that already have like designated yarns for them. I've been purposely buying my yarn. That's very good of me. And yeah, and also I've been like using yarn out of my stash, so that's also really good. So that was the Rosette sweater. The next one is this is a more recent publication than the PomPom 36, so I think it's the most recent one that I'll be showing you today. But it's the sweater, I think bindweed rosebud. So this is the bindweed cardigan that was published in the Making Stories magazine issue 5. So it's the recent one, spring 2021. And I've purposely bought this magazine because I wanted to knit this specific. I'm having a problem with just generally speaking today. But to be honest, I've recorded another thing just before this, but this is the bindweed by Ksenia Naidion. Sorry for butchering that, but it's the bindweed by Ksenia, and it requires a fingering weight yarn and a mohair held together, and it's a top down cardigan, and it has this cabling detail on the sleeves and this cabling going down the front, like button band. It's not a button band, but there it is. And it's cropped as well. If you might have noticed, I really like cropped sweaters. I'm really short, so there you go. Very cute. And this one as well, I already picked out the yarn for it. So this is a yarn that's been in my stash since last year, I think. I bought the yarn because I just fell in love with the colors. I really love like yellow gold color, and also I think like this fuchsia, fuchsia, it's not burgundy, this hint of fuchsia specks are really pretty, and also like the black specks as well. So I have 4 skeins, I have 4 skeins of this fingering weight yarn. So it's Zoe yarn, sock full ply, 100 grams, 400 meters. I was like 1,400, no, 400 meters, 100 grams, superwash merino, 100. So it's a superwash merino fingering weight yarn in this goldish colorway with specks of like pinky and like more super dark purples. So I've been holding on this yarn and trying to find like the perfect pattern for it, and I think it's this one. So I wanted to knit this pattern in this yarn that's been in my stash for a while, and I didn't have the matching mohair. So recently I bought Knitting for Olive again, Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colorway caramel. And I was a little bit dubious about this because when I received it, it wasn't like the colorway I was expecting. It was a little bit more dull, so I was a little bit worried that it will tone down this yarn too much. But I've done like a mini test and I think it's going to be fine, so fingers crossed it'll be okay. And I'll be knitting these 2 yarn in that cardigan. So I often go for the Knitting for Olive mohair because it's just accessible in Korea because they do worldwide shipping, and I really like the quality. It's very soft, and they do have quite a wide range of colors, but sometimes it's hard to find the specific colors I want. And but yeah, there are other mohairs that I really appreciate as well, but just for the moment it's the most accessible for me, so I'm going for Knitting for Olive. And they're also like, I think, very environmental friendly and very conscious about like how they source their yarn and stuff, so that's always a plus, you see. So those 2 are going to become the bindweed cardigan. You may have noticed that we're going in spring summer in Korea. Like, we have barely any spring in Korea, so at the moment it's very nice, but like I think 2 weeks later it's going to become like boiling hot. But you may have noticed that I am knitting like mohair, Nutiden, not the most like coolest yarns, but I don't really care, and I don't like knitting cotton yarn. I just don't wear summer knits, so I'm not going to knit summer knits. I'm already preparing for autumn and winter next year. So I'll be boiling, I'll be sweating with all my mohair projects. So I think that's like the last pattern that already, no, I have more, but like, yeah. So this is a swatch I've made out of the Harrisville Designs Highland wool that I purchased last month, I think. And I don't have a specific pattern for this one, but I'm just going to knit a sweater or a cardigan sweater in a broken rib stitch in this yarn. And this is like inspired from one of the I think it's a sweater, yeah. This is inspired from a sweater that Ola wore in Sex Education season 2, I think. So I just really wanted to have that sweater. So I bought the cording yarn in the rainbow colorway. I bought some yarn in a rainbow color scheme, and it's quite like thick. I think it's worsted. So I just need to work on like the pattern, because I'm not going to follow a specific pattern. I'm not going to like, I just need to figure out what I'm going to do like in terms of like numbers and stuff, because I'm not going to work with a proper pattern. So that's just taking a few a little bit of time just to start it, but I think once I start it, it's going to be super fast because it's 7mm, 6mm. It's quite like large needles, so that's also in the pipeline. But it's just like, I think it's not going to be complicated at all, because it's going to be a simple sweater and dropped shoulders. But it's just that when I have like in front of me a project that already has a pattern that I've purchased, and like a project that I have the yarn and the swatch, and I have to think about what I'm going to do, I gravitate to that one because I don't want to think. But I hope that this will become something in the near future. And also I thought that was the last like project I had the yarn for, but I also bought a kit recently. So this is a kit from Avril. I don't know how to pronounce this. Like in Korean they do say Avrilu, but like in French it's obviously Avril, but yeah, I don't know. So this is a kit I've purchased recently, and it's like a cute sweater with like braided details, and I think it's a cable. So it has some cabling and some color work, and I don't know how to read like any Japanese, so I can't give you any details about this, but maybe if you go on the April site you might be able to find details. But it's a kit with all of the yarn needed for the pattern, and the pattern in Japanese, so I might need to do some figuring out because I do not know how to read anything Japanese. But yeah, this is also in the pipeline. I really love this pattern. I think it's super cute, but I'm just going to make some modifications to shorten the length, so I'll have to like omit some patternings, because if I just reduce the length it will be strange in terms of like a proportion. So I think I'm gonna take out like some motifs. But generally speaking, I'm very excited about this one. It has like this pinkish yarn, so it's very cream pink. It's cream with a hint of pink. Cream pink. A cream with a hint of pink, and there's also like these blobs of black yarn, just the amount you need to do these detailing. So I'm looking forward to that. You see that I'm never going to be bored, because I already have like enough projects for the foreseeable future, and the problem is that I know that I'm gonna have like more projects in between that I want to knit, because I know myself, and yeah, I fall in love with patterns very easily. And the Laine 11 is coming out very soon, and also I think that like a summer pom-pom is going to be in the pipeline as well. So, you know, like there's always patterns getting released and stuff. And I'm a very, very slow knitter. So yeah, let's hope that all of this I've shown you will happen. So I just wanted to go through a few other sweaters that I have been eyeing. I'm sure that there's more, but these are 3 that I've thought about recently. So there's the Twinkle sweater by Midori Cafe. I think it's Midori Cafe. I'm not sure about the name, but it's something like that. And it's been, I just said earlier that I don't really like Japanese sweaters, and basically like half of this is Japanese. But yes, the Twinkle sweater by Midori Cafe, and it has been popping up in my Instagram feed like everywhere, and I just love, like, I don't know, I love the color work and the zigzag, and it just looks so fun, and I think I'm gonna wear it a lot. I've already like sort of picked out the yarn I want to use for this project, but I'm not allowing myself to buy more yarn until I do get like some of these cast on at least, and the projects I have on my needles cast off, so that I won't be like buying too much yarn ahead of time. Do you know what I mean? Because I do already have like quite a few projects worth of yarn that I want to knit right now, so I need to get like some started to buy more. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I think if I'm not mistaken, it was DK weight sweater top down, and I'm going to go for like a chestnutty brown and creamy beige. So I think it's going to be actually a very, very similar color choice with the Pressfella shawl I knit recently, but I was really, really pleased with that color, that color pairing. So I think that's why I'm gravitating towards that one. But that's that. And then the last 2 projects I wanted to like knit, like I don't know like when, but in the near future, is are 2 sweaters from the PomPom 34. So there's this one is the Delphinus sweater pullover by Aurélie Tixier, and it's like a very like loose fitting cabled sweater. So yeah, it's like cable in a braided style. I think it uses 2 strands of mohair. And then the other one I want to knit is the Atlantica pullover. It's the Atlantica pullover by Audrey Borrego, and this one uses 2 strands of lace weight yarn, and it's a more like intricate lace cabling patterning. So there's that. So these were like my dream knits that are going to happen in the next weeks or months maybe, but yeah, they are the knits I really want to knit like right now. And we never know what is going to really become a finished object and what's maybe going to be abandoned and changed and going to be knit in different yarn or a different pattern. You never know what's going to happen, but this is what I've decided for right now, and I hope it goes this way, because for the moment I'm really, really pleased with all of these pairings. I hope it was interesting for any of you watching until now, and I really like discovering new patterns and hearing about like what yarns people want to use with what projects and why and stuff like that. So I hope it was entertaining or informative. I don't think really informative, but like, yeah, insightful maybe. And feel free to share what projects you're thinking about to knit on in the foreseeable future, because yes, I already have like a full list of sweaters and shawls to knit, but I'm always looking for more. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoy your knits. So I hope that I'll be able to come back with another like interesting video, a knitting related video, and yes, see you next. Bye bye. Have a wonderful day. Bye.